If you want to understand where San Jose's housing market is headed over the next decade or so, there's one simple and undeniable rule that you have to live by: follow the jobs. It sounds basic, right? But most people get distracted by flashy headlines or interest rate drama. But in reality, where the massive employers set up shop, where they lease millions of square foot of office and industrial space, that's exactly where the workers are going to go. And those workers, they're going to need roofs over their heads. Hi, I'm Steve Moon of the Steve Moon Group, your San Jose realtor. Welcome to my channel where we talk about San Jose Metro and everything that is related to housing and real estate. And if you're looking to navigate this market, you're in the right place. Today, we're breaking down a major trend in the San Jose metro area that isn't getting enough buzz, I think, yet. And we're seeing massive, undeniable momentum building in North San Jose, aka Berryessa. And this isn't just a feeling or speculation. It's backed by massive corporate moves and city planning data that point to a huge squeeze on housing demand in that specific corridor. Let's start with the distinction in names. North San Jose is usually the industrial corridor associated with highways 101, 237, and 680, and Berryessa is more of the residential area that overlaps and extends up towards the hills. But as for realtors and looking at the MLS map, they're used interchangeably. The area that we used to call North San Jose is now called Berryessa by the MLS. So we will do the same here. So why here? And before we talk about the companies, we have to talk about why they're picking this specific place. Why not Palo Alto? Why not Mountain View? Why not Sunnyvale? It comes down to three things: transit, space, and vision. First, let's talk about the BART station in Berryessa. If you've lived in San Jose for a while, you know that for decades, BART felt like a long distant dream. Now it's a reality. The connection has completely changed the whole commute dynamics. And for the first time, a tech company in Berryessa can recruit talent from the East Bay, uh, places like Fremont, Union City, or even Oakland. And those employees can get to work without sitting in 880 or 680 traffic for 2 hours. Second, the location is a commuter's dream. So you're sitting right at the intersection of Highway 101, 237, and 880, and you're minutes away from San Jose International Airport. And if you're a global tech firm, that's huge. But the real secret sauce is the land. Unlike the peninsula, where every square inch is already spoken for, Berryessa still has these massive gold mine parcels. These are those rare spots where you can actually build a 20-acre tech campus from the ground up, because there are so many of these old office buildings designed in the 70s and 80s with acres and acres of parking space. All you have to think about is Cisco Systems and how it used to dominate all of North San Jose, and how it took over acres and acres and acres of space, and how now it's sitting pretty much empty. There's a corporate wave taking place, and this isn't just talk. We're seeing who's who of the tech world moving in, and the biggest name on that list, of course, is Apple. For years, Apple was obviously synonymous with Cupertino, but then they've been quietly planting a big red flag right here along Orchard Parkway. And as early as 2026, Apple has already moved several hundred employees into their 2509 Orchard Parkway building, and is already prepping to fill nearly 300,000 square feet complex right next door to 2325 Orchard Parkway. And between these two buildings, there's nearly 500,000 square feet of engineering and R&D space. But it's not just Apple. So let's also look at Supermicro, and they just dropped $80 million to buy the old Fry's Electronic headquarters site on Brokaw. And here's the twist though. The site was originally planned for over 1,200 housing units, but the city pivoted because they decided that they wanted jobs more than housing. So instead of 1,200 apartments, we're now getting thousands of new employees. And those 1,200 families who would have lived there, now they're going to have to find housing somewhere else in the neighborhood or in the surrounding area. Then you have Astera Labs, which is a semiconductor company at the heart of the AI hardware revolution. They recently tripled their footprint with a lease for over 150,000 square feet. We're also seeing Netgear move their headquarters into Berryessa, and SI Bone, a medical device company, is expanding their R&D footprint here. When you see all these AI and life sciences firm grabbing millions of square feet, you're looking at high income engineering and leadership roles. And these aren't temporary flex spaces, these are long term corporate anchors. The area is perfect transition from Cisco's old mega campus to various new AI and other computer related modern campuses. Okay, let's get real about where all these people are going to want to live. And this is where it gets a little stressful for buyers, but very interesting for investors. San Jose is already facing an inventory crisis, as we know. But here's the data point that should make you sit up. While these companies are expanding, the number of new housing permits in San Jose has actually cratered. And we've seen this biggest drop in multifamily permits among all major California metro areas lately. So think about the math. Jobs are increasing, and Apple alone has potential for thousands of more workers on their 87 acres that they've acquired. Corporate footprints are expanding, but the pipeline for new apartments and condos is drying up. Right now, vacancy rates in many parts of San Jose are under 4%. That's incredibly tight. And when you have low vacancy rates and high job growth, there's only one direction for rent and home prices to go over the long haul. The city does have plans for transit-oriented development projects right next to Berryessa BART station, which will include a mix of affordable and market rate housing. But those projects take years to come online. So guess what's going to happen to prices of homes in the area? You guessed it, straight up. So I want to explain the ripple effect of an office expansion because it doesn't just affect the street that the building is located on. When a company like Apple or Supermicro hires 500 new engineers, all of those people don't all want to live in Berryessa. They start looking at Berryessa, East San Jose, Milpitas, Santa Clara, and so on. It's a cycle. Phase one, the company signs a lease or buys land, like Apple's 1.1 billion South Bay real estate spree recently. Phase two, the hiring surge begins. Phase three, rental demand spike as the people move in to be close to the new office. And phase four, those renters eventually want to buy, which puts pressure on the resale market for single family homes and townhomes and condos. Because Berryessa is becoming this massive employment hub, the surrounding neighborhoods are also becoming some of the most desirable real estate in all of the South Bay area. If we look at the near term, the next 1 to 3 years, the trend is AI and specialized R&D. More than half of the recent leasing activity in Silicon Valley is driven by AI companies. These firms want their teams together in Class A office spaces where they can collaborate on hardware and software. There isn't any more talk of remote work. They're clustering and collaborating. And if you're looking at maybe midpoint from 5 to 10 years, this is the corridor that's going to be vibrant economic engine of the entire San Jose Metro. With BART expansion eventually heading towards downtown, Berryessa is perfectly positioned as the hub between East Bay and the South Bay. So, how do you actually use all of this information that you just received? If you're a buyer, don't just look at the house. Look at the neighborhood's job proximity. Buying in Berryessa or near the Bay Area tech campuses give you a built-in advantage. You're looking at a shorter commute, higher long-term demand for your property, and much better resale potential when it comes time for you to move on to get to your next property. If you're a renter, be prepared for a more competitive market. If you want to live near the BART station or these new tech hubs, you might want to start locking in longer leases now, before the next wave of hiring fully hits. If you're an investor, this is your green light. In real estate, we say location, 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 but I say jobs, jobs, jobs. When you see this much of corporate commitment in one concentrated area, uh, that is where all of the housing pressure is going to build. At the end of the day, real estate is a long game. It's about seeing the signals before everybody else does. And right now, the signal in the San Jose metro is loud and clear. Berryessa is the place to watch. The employers are putting roots down, the transit is already in place, and the demand for housing is about to hit a whole new level. Whether you're looking to buy your first home or add to your portfolio of investments, following the jobs is the smartest strategy that you can have right now. I hope that this deep dive into the Berryessa market was helpful for you. And if it was, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe buttons. It helps me keep bringing you this type of data-driven content. I'm Steve Moon, and I'd like to see you in the next video.